Hello friends, here we will discuss the performance appraisal. Now see, what do you mean by performance appraisal? Simply it refers to the periodic regular examination of the employee's contribution to the company in terms of the job performance and the overall contribution for the organization. Very simple, right? What is performance appraisal? It is simply what? It is periodic. It may be quarterly, annually or semi-annually like that. Anyway, depending on the company, right? And they will decide what is the performance of the employee, how much he has contributed in the sales, how much he has contributed to achieve the objective of the organization. That means very simple, right? In a bank also there is a performance evaluation, right? There is a report annually that branch manager is submit about the staff, right? So it is very easy to understand. Now what is the performance review? These are used by the businesses to provide the employee with the comprehensive their work salary raise and the incentive choice regarding the employment termination. So it is very easy. What is a performance review? So review is given, right? It is like if you are performing good, your review will be good and you will get more salary, right? If your performance is less as per the review, then there is choice that they will ask you, your performance is not good, you may leave the organization like that. So we can say the performance review is helping to enhance the salary or even the choice for the employment termination also. So the performance appraisal can be brought out at any time, right? So how they generally it is been carried? It is been carried generally annually, semi-annually, or even quarterly also. Okay, so it is very easy to understand the concept of performance appraisal. Now see how it works. See, the employee can advance their career using the performance review, which are often developed by the HR department. So who develop the performance appraisal? HR develop, right? Basically, HR is the ultimate responsible for the performance appraisal, and they can guide the employee regarding their performance. If performance is good, they can have the more opportunity in the organization. They offer feedback to the employee regarding their work performance. They means what? Simply the HR. So the performance review assist in the decision making process regarding the contribution of regarding the distribution of available financial resources by the way of increase in the bonuses and the salary. So how, see, if performance is good, then the HR can think increase in the salary, right? So they will able to distribute the whatever the revenue they are having. So more good appraisal, more salary, good appraisal, more incentive. Very simple. The employee who have contributed the most in its growth, organization can appropriately reward them. So obviously who is having more contribution, they will get more salary, more perks. Appraisal also help manager to create the plan for the employee development, including the additional training. So obviously if the performance is not good, they can have option like they will provide additional training or other career advancement plan also. So they can, and if the performance is good, they can increase the responsibility. So like that, it is very much important to analyze the performance of the employee, right? Now see, there are type of the performance appraisal. So the most performance review are conducted from top down, which mean that a manager evaluate the subordinates. It is very common in our bank also, right? So manager is simply the branch manager will have to send the performance report of every staff, right? So it is called as the top down approach. Now there are different performance appraisal. So see, it is very much common. Branch manager sends your feedback to the HR, right? And if your feedback sent negative by the branch manager, HR will send you an email or letter asking explanation and seeking the improvement like that. Okay, it is very easy and common. This is called as the feedback. Now see, self-evaluation. So employee assess their own. See, there are different types of the performance appraisal. So there are majorly four common types of the performance appraisal. First is called the self-evaluation. Second is the peer assessment. Third is the 360-degree feedback, and fourth is the negotiated appraisal. So it is very easy. Self-evaluation means the employee itself evaluating themselves. For example, they will ask you, give score out of 100. So you have to rate yourself, right? This is called self-evaluation. Next is the peer assessment. So here peer means simply the smarter people, the superior or the colleague evaluate the individual's performance. Okay, peer means generally say in bank for clerk's performance, officer may evaluate or the branch manager can evaluate. Okay, this is called as the performance, called as the peer assessment. Now third is the 360-degree feedback assessment. In that case, it includes the feedback from the individual, their superior and the peer. So 360 means all around. 360 means all around. So if you are the clerk in the bank, then officer can send your feedback, then the assistant manager can send your feedback, then the branch manager can send your feedback, even the regional manager can send your feedback. That is called the 360 peer 360-degree feedback assessment from all the peers, right? Next is the negotiated appraisal. It is very easy. Negotiated, see, name itself it is indicating. Negotiated means what? Here the third person is involved, right? Very simple. So understand, and a recent trend is involving a mediator. So in the performance appraisal, mediator, third party is involved. This is done by focusing on the positive before constructive criticism. So obviously, if branch manager sends negative report about their staff, so there may be the bad relation between the manager and the staff. So negotiated appraisal. So third party is involved. For example, say I will involve the regional manager here. So the like a third party, anybody, mediator, right? So regional manager will first do the constructive criticism that you are good here, but you need to improve, like that. That is called a constructive criticism. So when there are disagreement between the subordinate and the superior, this structure is often helpful in mediating the disagreement. So it is very, very important. If for exam point of view also, they will generally ask you what is the negotiated appraisal. Okay, so only one thing you have to remember: negotiated means there is mediator, and when there is disagreement, you have to use the negotiated appraisal method. Okay, so what are the method? I repeat: self-assessment, 360, performance appraisal, negotiated appraisal, and the peer assessment. Okay, now see friends, what are the objective of the performance appraisal? Why we are doing the performance appraisal? What is our objective? Simply, we have to identify the strength and the limitations of the employee, and so that we can use the optimal position. That means what? If the employee is good in sales, so we can post him into the sales department, called as the optimal positioning. Then the future development planning. If employee is not good, then we can provide the training in the future. That is called as the future development planning. Now see that performance appraisal provide essential feedback also to employee regarding the employee performance and contribution to the organization. And a performance appraisal also guides the HR in determining the training needs for the staff. It also influences the work approach and enhances the sense of responsibility. So you see, obviously, if the performance appraisal is good, the employee feel very much appreciated, right? And he will have more feel of a sense of responsibility, right? So these are the some objective of the performance appraisal. Now, what are the advantages? Then very simple. See, it serves as the basis for the salary adjustment, bonuses, promotion, incentive, and even termination. So obviously, good performance appraisal, more the salary, otherwise termination, right? So it also addresses the staff weaknesses by developing the targeted program. So obviously, if performance appraisal is not good, what they will do? They will provide more training to the staff. Then they will also give the feedback regarding where you have to need to improve, right? Communicators, the performance appraisal communicates the employee performance to the management effectively. Obviously, the HR will give the report to the management also, right? It offers motivation through the feedback, showcasing the efficiency and driving the performance improvement. So obviously, once there is feedback, obviously they can provide the training, and also if the performance appraisal is really good, through feedback they will again motivate that you are doing very good, right? It is called as the motivation on good appraisal, right? So they will drive more performance again. That is called as the enhanced sense of responsibility. So these are the advantages of the performance appraisal. Now see, what are the disadvantages then? So it is very simple. See, performance evaluation may fail. Why? If there is use of inaccurate or inappropriate element. For example, they have used the element like for example, spending more time in the office. If there is element, then it may be inaccurate, right? Performance evaluation may be failed if overlooking the crucial aspect. What are the crucial aspect? Behavior of the employee is not good. If his is good performance, right, still his behavior is not good, then it is what the crucial aspect we can neglect. It may happen, right? Performance evaluation may fail by assessing the unclear factor. So see, what are the factor which can be unclear? See, attitude. You cannot judge the person's attitude in small duration. Like then capability, whether you are able to judge the capability. No, if person is something good in, for example, in one thing, he not be good in other things. So you cannot judge the capability of the performance of the person. Then create the challenges in the evaluation. So these are the unclear factor. You cannot judge the employee based on the attitude, capability, because see, it's a very much unclear factor, right? Performance evaluation may fail if the manager is conducting appraisal don't have any necessary knowledge or lack of qualification. If the performance the branch manager is not having that much sufficient of knowledge, right, he is not that much capable, then how he can evaluate the employees, right? So these are the disadvantages of the performance appraisal. Very easy to understand, right? Now see, performance appraisal and the career strategy. So performance appraisal serves to formally evaluate the employee performance, providing feedback and identify the area for the improvement. Evaluations are typically conducted on regular schedule, either annually or semi-annually. So obviously, see, it performance appraisal itself, it is like having the feedback to the employee, and they will also have the chances to provide the training if you are not having particularly if you are not good in one subject or one area, they will provide you training HR. So obviously the performance appraisal serves as the basis to evaluate the employee. Now see the primary purpose of the performance appraisal. So why we are conducting the performance appraisal? See, informing employee of their performance rating. So if they, so obviously why we are conducting performance appraisal? So they will provide you rating. 1 means low, 10 means high. So you will get 8 rating. So you will get aware about yourself. Then identifying the employee eligible for the merit raise. So obviously if you are having the 10 out of 10, then you will get promotion. Like they call it merit raise. It is meaning the training means if you are having only 5 out of 10, they will provide you the training. Then recognizing the candidate for the promotion. Obviously higher the candidate score, good is the appraisal, obviously they will recognize them as the promotional aspirants, right? So these are the primary purpose for which we are conducting the performance appraisal. Now see the formal appraisal method. So these are the very much common formal appraisal method. How the appraisal takes place? See, by the way of evaluation by the superior of the subordinate. For example, simply the branch manager will send the appraisal of the sub-staff or the staff in the branches. Evaluation by the group of superior of the subordinates. For example, group of superior means here we can say the 5 people which are superior will do the assessment of the one particular staff. This is a group of superior of the subordinates. Then evaluation of the colleague by the peers. So it can happen, evaluation of the colleague by the peer. So peer means simply here say higher authority or the superior person. Evaluation of bosses by the subordinates. This is very much common, right? It can happen, evaluation of bosses by even subordinates. Who will conduct the evaluation? Even subordinates. For example, the HR can ask, send the performance review of your branch manager, and who will send it? By the all staff will send it. This is reverse process. Like subordinates are sending the appraisal of the bosses. These are the common formal methods. Evaluation by the superior, or reverse evaluation by the bosses, right? Second is evaluation by the group and evaluation by the peers. So these are the 4 formal appraisal methods. See the graphic rating scale and the behavioral anchor rating scale. So there are 2 scale. The graphic rating scale, right, 1 to 5 or like a graph like that, okay? And behavioral anchor rating scale, BARS, that we have to see in upcoming slides. 2 major evaluation methods that fall under the behavioral anchored assessment method, right? We can have only 2 options. These are major 2 evaluations, right? One is the graphic rating, another is the BARS, that we have to see in detail. Both the manager's performance in the achieving goals and the plan, as well as his performance in his role as a manager, should be evaluated as part of the performance review. See, obviously how manager is doing, right, and how manager is reviewing his staff, both should be assessed, right? When evaluating performance, it is necessary to take into account both their strength as well as the weaknesses also. Obviously performance should not about all the weaknesses, it should be a combine of the strength and the weaknesses, okay? So these are very easy to understand on all the theory parts. Now interesting part we will see here, what are the methods of the performance appraisal. First is the past oriented method. These are called as the traditional method. Second is the future oriented, that is called as the modern method. Very simple. Past means traditional, future means modern, okay? So first we will see the past oriented methods called as the traditional methods. So first is the rating scale. This is very common, rating scale. So these are the numerical scale representing the job performance such as the dependability, initiative, outcome, attendance, etc. Each scale ranges from excellent to poor, right? And final scores are computed to derive the conclusion. So what are the, see here, if you are if they will rate you based on the, for example, here is the employee, right? And we have to rate the employee based on the attitude, right? So we will rate satisfactory. So they will again we will rate based on the attendance, we will rate based on the productivity. So and then then average score is determined, right? It is called as the rating scale. Very easy. What are the advantages of the? Simply adaptable, easy to use, low cost, applicable to the various jobs, and can evaluate many employee without the formal training also. So no need of training, you can just use score, right? Very easy. What are the disadvantages? The rater biases may affect the outcome. See, The rater means what? Say for example, say the boss is giving rating. If they are having not a good relation with the staff, then he can give the negative or lowest rating, right? So these are the very simple disadvantages. Now see, next is the past oriented method called as the threat analysis. That is the traditional method. Next is the threat analysis. So see here, see the threat analysis. So here in this method, this is the again traditional method. It involves the checklist with yes or no statements regarding the employee traits. For example, we have the statement based on the dependency, attitude or teamwork, etc. And then the rater means who is rating that will change the traits, and HR will evaluate the HR will conduct the evaluation. Now what are the advantages? See here, through example you will get, see employee performance based on the trait analysis. What is the trait? This employee works well with the people in his team. That is called as teamwork, right? So whether yes or no. So we can say, yeah, if it is yes, if it is no. Like based on the statement, that is called as the yes or no, that the checklist has to provided. That has to be rated by the rater. So who can be the rater? Who is doing the analysis? Who is doing the threat analysis, right? So what are the advantages? Simply, it is economy, years of administration, limited training is required, and the standardization. Why standardization? Simply you have to click yes or no. Whether the employees well linked and respectable people in the team, yes or no, like that you have to simply mark as a rater. So what are the disadvantages? Obviously the rater bias can happen. Potential improper weights by the HR. Rater can't give the relative rating, only yes or no. You cannot give relative rating. For example, whether his teamwork is good or not, out of 10 you can give 6, 7, 8. Here only you have to give 0 or 1. Okay, 0 or 10, like that, yes or no, right? So relative rating is not possible. These are the simple, very simple disadvantages, right? So very easy threat analysis. Next is the forced choice method. So in this the series of statements are given and the rater indicates which statement is true or false, right? This is called as the forced choice method. So rater is forced to make a choice. HR department does the actual assessment. So what are the advantages? Simply see, for example, see, is the employee always regular? True. Is the employee never regular? False. Is the employee having remains absent? True. So based on that, simply you have to mark true or false, right? Or most or least you have to mark. So what are the advantages? This is forced choice. You have to mark means mark. Okay. No choice of leaving the remark. So what are the advantages? Absence of a personal biases because of the forced choice. So it is forced choice. You cannot ignore, right? So we can say bias is minimized. So what are the disadvantages? So statements may be wrongly framed. These are the disadvantages, right? If statement is wrong, how can you check the employee's performance, right? Next is the forced distribution method. So here employees are clustered around the high point on the rating. So rater is compelled to distribute the employee on all the points. So it is assumed that the performance can conform to the normal distribution. So assumption of a normal distribution is unrealistic and the error of central tendency may occur. So see, post distribution, see, remember here, net distribution means you remember this gap of a normal distribution, right? So in that method, employee has to place anywhere. So either employee has to place here or place here. So here means employee is safe. Here is underperformance and here is high performance. So the employee always need to have the central tendency means average performance, right? So these are the unrealistic, right? So employee cannot always be at the central position, average, right? So he can be he can be the underperformer, he can be the high performer, he can be the average performer. So this is called as the forced distribution method. Next is the critical incidence method. So in that case, what happened? This is focuses on this critical behavior of an employee that critical to the performance. So critical behavior is analyzed here. So very simple. See, supervisor records such incidents as and when they occur. Okay. For example, say critical incidence method. For example, whether employee tried to repair the machine, right? So for that he will give the remark. Out of 5, say 3. Whether was happy to force a test, whether the employee formed the supervisor immediately, whether anything happened, whether he informing to the supervisor immediately. So based on this critical statement, right? So they will rate the employee. It is called as the critical incidence method. For example, some critical incident. For example, in the factory, machine is not able to work. Whether he tried to repair the machine, So based on that, they will give the marks, they will give the scale. Okay, very easy. So what are the advantages? Evaluations are based on the actual job behavior. Ratings are supported by the description. Feedback is easy, reduces the recent biases, and the chances of subordinate improvements are very high. So these are very much very much interesting, right? This is very interesting critical incidence method. So based on the real life incidents, they are rating. So what are the disadvantages then? Negative incidents can be prioritized. So there can be negative incidents, right? It can be prioritized. Then for rating the positive ones, overlay close and it may happen that some employee may have very good relation with the bosses, so they will report immediately with the bosses, so they can be have more marks. So these are we can say overlay close supervision. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of the critical incidence method. Now very interesting, confidential record. So these are used primarily by the government department and the traditional organization. For example, they are having the ACR called as the annual confidential report. Even some traditional banks are following it. Records rating records based on the attendance, self-expression, teamwork, leadership, initiative, technical ability, responding to the ability, and originality, etc. They may send. So process is highly secret. Feedback is only provided if there is a negative evaluation. It may happen in maximum banks it is being conducted. And now pen portrait method means what? Descriptive, very simple. Pen portrait means descriptive. So the assessor picture in writing about the assessee. Okay, regarding the ability, quality, performance, and the potential. Generally, army uses this method. Okay, they have the descriptive about the descriptive opinion about their employee. Okay, so boss will portray using the description like essay about the employee. Next is the future oriented method. So modern methods we will see. First is the MBO, called as the management by the objective. See, this is introduced by the Peter Drucker. Okay, we have discussed in HRM in detail about the MBO. So MBO stands for, this is the modern method of appraisal, MBO, management by objective, developed by the Peter Drucker. Performance rating is based on the achievement of state of objective. So see, what is MBO? Management by objective means what? Simply goals and desired outcome. That is what the targets are established between the management and the employee. Means what? What are the goals of the organization that should we have to align in line with the target or the goals of the employee. So the goals of the organization should match with the goals of the employee. In only that way we can achieve the objective. That is called the management by objective. So the performance standards are set and assessed through the review meeting. Reason for shortfall are identified and the feedback is provided for the improvement. New goals and strategy are established for the future performance. So this is simply the management by objective. Now see here, management by objective and what are the steps involved, right? These are the management by objective. Now see, second is the assessment center approach method. So in this method, this is the modern assessment method. So under this assessment center approach method, many evaluation join together to judge the employee performance. Many evaluators. So multiple people will be judging the one person. Okay, that's what is center. See, center means you are here at a center and multiple evaluators are sitting around you to judge you, right? Like a interview, panel interview. It is mostly used mostly to help select the employee for the first level. That is called the supervisory position. So generally it happens when we are selecting the employee at the lowest level. Assessments are made to determine the employee's potential for the promotion. It is like an interview. You just remember it is like an interview. One person is sitting and all persons are sitting around them and they are evaluating that employee. Okay, very easy. Now what are the key features? See, it is useful the use of situational exercise. What are the situational exercise? For example, like in basket exercise, management game, role play, critical incidents, and the leader group discussion. So these are the situational exercises, right? So the center assessment uses the situational exercises. Then evaluators consist of the experienced manager with proven expertise. Obviously, who are the evaluator? They will be one from the HR, one from the technical department, one from the sales. So all are evaluating the employee. So the candidates are assessed both individually and collectively, receiving the rating in category more than the for what are the category? More than acceptable, less than acceptable, or unacceptable. So these are the category in which they will put the employee. A summary report is compiled by the evaluator and the feedback is provided upon request to the candidate. Only if there is a request from the candidate, only they will provide the feedback. Okay, so these are the all about assessment center approach method. So how that being conducted? What is the procedure for it? Simply see, first establish the leadership group focusing on the reaching consensus. Means what? Simply the group you have to establish to conduct the assessment. Then appoint the task force leader to determine the course of action. Then from that group, one with the leader who will decide the next actions. Then utilize the simulation game and in basket exercise for assessing the organization and the planning skill. Then candidate has to present the oral report and to evaluate the communication skill and understanding the current role. They conduct the personal interview and a projective test to check the motivation and the dependency on the other. Implement the paper pencil test to measure the intellectual capability like IQ and IQ, aptitude, etc. Ensure the success through the commitment, job analysis and training. So these are very easy, right? Very easy. First you have to form the group, one with the group leader. Then you will decide what are the situational game you have to test. That is called the situational exercises. So based on that you will have to judge the employee. Okay, these are the very easy assessment center approach method. Now next is the BARS. It is very interesting. It is most commonly used behavioral anchored rating scale, BARS. It is called as it is developed by Smith and the Kendall. So the BARS is a modern appraisal method that compare employee behavior to the specific example and the numerical rating. Okay, so see, BARS is the modern appraisal method that aim to provide a fair evaluation with respect to compared to the other techniques. It is having 5 primary steps. So just go through the steps. First is what? Generate the critical incidents. Means what? We have to collect the critical incidents. Very simple. Persons with knowledge of the job, right? For example, it may be the job holder or say supervisor. They will ask to describe the specific illustration. For example, critical incidents. For example, what are the critical incidents? For example, if machine is turned off, whether the employee is willing to turn on itself or whether he is seeking any help. Okay, like that. So incidents are being collected. Then develop the performance dimension. So these incidents are grouped into the smaller set of performance dimension, typically 5 to 10. So we will have to develop the dimension. So according to the incidence we will simply give the marks, okay, for a particular incidence. Then reallocate the incidence, called as the reclassification. So another group with the job knowledge assign each incidence to the appropriate dimension, retaining incidence that significant percentage. So generally 50 to 70% agree. So obviously we can reclassify based on the priority. Then scale of the incidence, like assigning scale to the incidence means what? Simply the rate the incidence on scale based how they are representing. So obviously rate of incidence means we can assign the scale to the incidence. Then develop the final instrument. So obviously subset of 6 to 7 incidents per cluster is selected to serve as the behavior anchors for the performance dimension. So these are the 5 steps you have to remember. Okay, first collect the incidence, then develop the performance dimension, then reallocate the incidence, then scale to the incidence and develop the final instrument. Okay, that 5 steps are important regarding with the BARS, behaviorally anchored rating scale. So see how you see, this is all our theory, right? How you will get the particular thing. See, here is the example. For example, if there is point is what? The customer service representative, right? Example. So we will give you the performance. If the points are 5, outstanding performance. If you are get only 1 point, you are unsatisfactory. Very easy, right? Now behavior you have to check. Use the positive phrases to explain the product. Satisfactory means what? Refer the customer to another product. That means you are satisfactory. So if we are analyzing the customer service representative, right? The 5 points are given. It means what? He used a positive phrases to explain the product, means he is very good. If he is not good means what? He argued with the customer about the stability of request of product, means he is not good. Okay, if he has offered additional information when asked by the customer, means he is excellent. So in that way you can rate based on the behavior of the employee. It is called as the BARS. Okay, so once you go through the example, only you will get the better idea. Okay, so the BARS technique has advantages. For example, it offer the enhanced judgment accuracy, clear standard, effective feedback for the appraisee, independent dimension and the rater independence. So these are very much interesting because this is widely used because it is having most accurate, okay, less biased. Now what is the KRA? KRA means key result area. So KRA are the set of goals that the people and the organization measure their progress and the performance. See, very interesting. KRE means what? Key result area. So what are the area in which the employee or the company needs to focus to achieve the highest performance? That is simply called as the key result area. So the KRA are measurable, time bound objective that outline what need to be accomplished. What are the some examples of the KRA? See, very simple. See, increasing scale or reducing the expenses by certain percentage. For example, I have to reduce expenses in the marketing. For example, 5% I have to reduce. Okay, increasing customer satisfaction by certain percentage. I have to increase the customer satisfaction by 10%. Improving team performance by 50%. So these are the objectives, small objective I am having. These are what? These are the examples for the KRA, right? So the individual performance development plan has a two component: performance plan and the individual development plan. So it is not important. Simply we see individual performance and development plan has two components: simply individual development plan and the performance plan, right? So what are the important? See, the performance plan is developed by the manager and the employee through 4-step process. So what are how the performance plan is being developed? Agreeing on the KRA, establishing the performance objective, defining the key performance indicator and associated performance target, formulating the action plan. So these are the 4 steps by which the performance plan is being developed. So the KRA refer to the general area of output for which the department is responsible. So what is the performance plan? The performance plan has a 4 steps. Remember, first agree, establish the objective, define the indicator for it, and the action plan. Okay, very simple. Next, HRD. So friends, here we will stop. The remaining part of HRD we will finish in the next lecture. Okay, you can join our Telegram group. You can download the application from the Play Store Banker Zone, and you can also reach us on our official WhatsApp number. Thank you, friends.